Imagine a cult so cunning, so deeply woven into the fabric of society, that it kills right under the noses of the police, its rituals mistaken for random street crimes, for decades. Picture a blood-red moon hanging low, a trail of bodies marked with cryptic symbols, and a secret society no one could pin down, their existence whispered, but never proven. Welcome to the cult of the Crimson Moon, Murder in Plain Sight, where we rip away the veil on a modern-day nightmare that baffled detectives, haunted communities, and left a scar on the world. Gruesome rites cloaked in shadow, believers hiding behind respectable faces, and a mystery that's as terrifying as it is true. This isn't just a story, it's a descent into the heart of darkness. Light a candle, lock your doors, and brace yourself. We're exposing the shadows, and it's going to get grim. It's July 13, 1983, in Portland, Oregon, a city draped in fog, so thick it clings to the skin like damp cloth. The sky burns red, a lunar eclipse casting an eerie glow over the pines of Forest Park, a sprawling wilderness on the city's edge. At 5:42 a.m., a jogger, breath puffing in the dawn chill, stumbles over something in the underbrush, a body. It's a woman, 28, her throat slit clean, her hands crossed over her chest like a prayer. A crescent moon is carved into her skin, the cuts precise, the blood pooling on a bed of pine needles, soaking into the earth. There's no ID, no purse, no witnesses, just the corpse and the silence of the woods. Portland PD arrives, their flashlights cutting through the mist. Detective Frank Harrow, 35, gruff with a voice like gravel, and a cigarette perpetually dangling from his lips, kneels by the body. His notepad fills fast. Female, no defensive wounds, ritualistic posing. He logs it as case #83-714, Jane Doe. The crimson moon fades as the sun rises, and the case slips into the city's backlog, dismissed by the brass as a drifter's work, a one-off psycho's whim. Wrong place, wrong time, a sergeant mutters. Harrow's gut disagrees, but he's got no proof, just a nagging itch he can't scratch. The years roll on, and the body isn't a one-off. The killings continue, each one a dark echo of the first. In 1989, Seattle, a homeless man is found in Discovery Park, throat slit, moon carved, hands crossed, under another red moon. In 1995, Boise, Idaho, a sex worker lies dead in a sagebrush field, same MO, same lunar eclipse. By 2002, Reno, Nevada, a transient is discovered in a desert wash, the crescent moon glistening with dried blood. The pattern is unmistakable to those who look closely, always a red moon, always a clean cut, always that carved symbol, but the police don't connect the dots. Jurisdictions squabble, evidence sits in dusty boxes, and the public forgets each case as quickly as it hits the news. By 2010, 17 bodies are linked across the West Coast, from Oregon to Nevada, their deaths spanning nearly 3 decades. The victims are loners, drifters, people society overlooks, no families to push for justice, no headlines to sustain the pressure. Detectives call it bad luck, conspiracy nuts call it a serial killer, but no one says the word that fits, cult. Frank Harrow, retired by 2015, can't let it go. His Portland apartment is a shrine to the case, yellowed files, grainy photos, maps pinned with red dots marking each kill. He haunts true crime forums, his username, RedMoon83, a fixture in threads about unsolved murders. It's organized, he types late at night, his fingers shaking from too much coffee and not enough sleep. Same method, same timing. It's not one guy, it's a group. The internet mostly ignores him, dismissing him as a crank, but his words linger, a seed waiting for the right soil. That soil is Mara Quinn, 32, in 2023. She's a freelance journalist with a shaved head, a silver nose ring, and a fire in her gut that makes her relentless. Her podcast, Unsolved Shadows, has a cult following among amateur sleuths, its gritty episodes dissecting cold cases with surgical precision. Mara stumbles across Harrow's posts while researching West Coast murders, and the Crimson Killings, as forum users dub them, hook her hard. She drives to Portland, her beat-up hatchback stuffed with notebooks and a cheap microphone. The 83 case file, buried in the police archives, is her starting point. The pages are brittle, the photos faded, but the image of that crescent moon carving stops her cold. "This isn't random," she says into her MIC, her voice low, urgent, recording in a motel room. "It's a signature. Someone, or something, is sending a message." Mara digs deeper, her days blurring into nights. The victims are always on society's fringes, homeless, runaways, addicts, no ties, no one to miss them. The killings align with lunar eclipses, a celestial rhythm that feels deliberate. The crime scenes are botched, evidence mishandled, witnesses ignored. Harrow meets her in a greasy diner, his hands shaking as he slides her a folder of his notes. "Look for the cult," he rasps, his eyes bloodshot. "They are still out there, hiding in plain sight." Mara's skeptical but intrigued. She maps the deaths: Portland, Seattle, Boise, Reno, and more, each one tied to a red moon, each one screaming ritual. A witness report from '89 catches her eye. A gas station clerk near Seattle saw a figure in a red hood, robes flowing, slipping into the woods hours after the murder. "Thought it was a prank," he told cops, who laughed it off. Mara doesn't laugh. She sees a pattern, a shadow organization moving with purpose. On her next episode, she gives them a name: the Cult of the Crimson Moon. The words hit like a spark, and the world starts listening. Mara's podcast explodes, its downloads spiking into the millions as listeners devour her Crimson Moon episodes. Tips flood her inbox, most are noise, trolls or wild theories, but a few glow like gold. One comes from Lila Gray, now 50, a recluse living in a remote Idaho cabin. Her email is terse: "They took me in '95. I ran, I'll talk." Mara drives 10 hours to Boise, her heart pounding. Lila's cabin is a fortress, triple locks, barred windows, a shotgun by the door. Her hands shake as she speaks, her voice barely above a whisper. She was 21, a drifter, when robed figures snatched her from a Boise alley during a red moon eclipse. They chanted to a Crimson Mother, their voices low and guttural, as they tied her to a stone altar in a forest clearing. A blade hovered at her throat, the air thick with incense and fear. Lila broke free when a rope snapped, diving into a ditch as the cult scattered. She flagged down a cop, but he called her drunk, her story shelved. "They are everywhere," Lila whispers, eyes darting. Doctors, teachers, cops, normal people with normal lives. Mara cross-checks Lila's account, her laptop glowing late into the night. Victims vanish days before eclipses, their bodies dumped in remote areas, national parks, forests, desert washes, places where nature swallows evidence. She notices a pattern: each site lies near a ley line, invisible grids of mystical energy that cults and occultists, unsolved shadows obsess over. A blurry photo from the 2002 Reno killing shows a robed shadow in the background, a pendant visible at its neck, a crescent moon with a ruby at its center. Harrow, on a grainy Zoom call, nods grimly when Mara shows him their mark. He grunts. "Seen it before, '89, same deal." Mara's deep dives into obscure corners of the internet uncover a '90s zine called Lunar Truth, its pages ranting about a Crimson Mother, who demands blood to cleanse the earth for her return. The zine's publisher, a recluse named Carl Weaver, was found dead in 1998, throat slit, moon carved, case unsolved. The pieces are falling into place, but the puzzle is far from complete. Portland PD stonewalls Mara's requests for more files, their cold case unit a bureaucratic black hole. But a rookie cop, Eli Ruiz, 27, with a buzz cut and a chip on his shoulder, takes a risk. He leaks a 2015 file about a failed cult bust, a raid on a rural Oregon compound where cops found robes, ceremonial blades, and a stone altar etched with moons. The suspects vanished, the evidence was destroyed in an accidental fire, and the case died. Higher-ups buried it. Eli texts Mara, his messages encrypted. Someone's protecting them. Mara follows a name from the file, Dr. Evelyn Voss, 62, a psychiatrist linked to the bust, now living in seclusion in Eugene. Mara knocks on Voss's door, her recorder hidden in her jacket. Voss is frail, her eyes darting like a trapped animal's. "Leave it alone," she hisses. "They'll find you." The door slams, but not before Mara glimpses a ruby crescent pendant on a shelf, glinting in the dim light. That night, Mara notices a black sedan with tinted windows tailing her motel. She records on her phone, her voice steady despite her racing pulse. "They're watching me. I heard it tonight," a hum, low, like Lila described. The cult's chant. The sound is faint but unmistakable, a guttural drone that raises the hairs on her neck. She double-checks her locks, her hand lingering on the knife she's started carrying. The crimson moon is real, and it's closing in. 2024 breaks with a chill, the next lunar eclipse looming on July 13th. Mara's relentless, her safe house a chaos of maps, printouts, and coffee cups. She's piecing together a cult that spans generations, its tendrils buried deep in society's bones. She tracks down Voss again, cornering her in a Eugene cafe. Under pressure, Voss cracks, her voice trembling as she spills, "I was one of them. Recruited in 81, my therapy practice was a front." The cult of the Crimson Moon worships the Crimson Mother, a lunar deity who promises rebirth through sacrifice. Blood fuels her return, each killing a step toward apocalypse and ascension. Members aren't outcasts, they are pillars of society, cops, lawyers, doctors, even politicians, hiding behind impeccable resumes. "We killed to ascend," Voss sobs, her hands clawing at her coffee cup. "I quit after 95. Too much blood, too many faces in my dreams." She fled, but the cult never forgets defectors. Mara maps the cult's reach, using Voss's confessions as a guide. She identifies 5 key members: a Seattle judge, a Boise police captain, a Reno district attorney, a Portland surgeon, and a Sacramento councilwoman. Each operates in a city where killings occurred, each linked to cases that were mysteriously dropped, evidence lost, witnesses recanting, budget slashed. Eli, risking his badge, pulls internal records. Suspects walked free, forensic reports vanished, investigations stalled. The 2015 bust, he learns, was sabotaged. A raid on a cult safehouse uncovered robes, blades, and a moon-etched altar, but a fire, ruled accidental, destroyed it all. Harrow, tapping old contacts from his detective days, confirms the rot. Chiefs took bribes, looked the other way. The cult's untouchable. Mara's podcast airs Voss's confession, edited to protect her identity. Downloads skyrocket, the internet buzzing with #Crimson Moon. Tips pour in. A red-robed figure spotted in Los Angeles, 2020, hours before a murder. A ruby pendant pawned in Boise, 2005, by a man who later disappeared. The July eclipse approaches, and Portland hums with nervous energy. Mara predicts the next hit, Forest Park, the cult's original hunting ground. She convinces Eli to stake it out, their cameras rolling, hidden in a thicket. On July 12, fog rolls in, thick as soup, muffling sound. At 11:47 p.m., a low hum rises, chillingly familiar, Lila's chant, Voss's nightmare. Robed figures emerge, their red hoods ghostly in the mist, a bound drifter struggling between them. Mara snaps photos, her hands shaking but steady enough, ruby pendants gleam, faces masked, blades catching the moonlight. Eli radios for backup, but static crackles, no reply. The cult moves fast, the blade falls, blood sprays, a moon is carved. Then they are gone, swallowed by the fog, leaving the body behind. "We've got proof," Mara gasps, her photos shaky but damning, the cult caught mid-ritual. Police swarm the scene, but they are too late, the body's cold, the cult vanished. Mara leaks the photos to a local news outlet, and the story detonates. Crimson Moon cult exposed, screams every headline, the images trending worldwide. The cult denies everything, their public faces, judges, cops, surgeons, issuing polished statements, calling it a hoax. Voss disappears, her Eugene home ransacked, her ruby pendant gone. Mara's motel room is trashed, her laptop smashed, her backup drive stolen, her microphone snapped in half. The black sedan tails her again, closer now, its engine growling like a predator. They are closing in, she tells Eli, her eyes wide, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing her bones. The Crimson Moon is wounded, but it's not dead, and it's fighting back. July 14, 2024, dawn's grey, the eclipse fading but the cult's shadow growing. Mara's photos lead to one arrest, a Seattle judge, his ruby pendant matching the cult's mark. His silent, his lawyer a shark who buries the case in motions. Eli suspended from the force, cited for meddling in active investigations, his badge yanked by a chief with a suspiciously clean record. Harrow's car explodes outside his apartment, arson, investigators say, no body found, but the message is clear, back off. Mara goes dark, her podcast silent, her socials dormant. She holes up in a safe house, a dingy cabin outside Salem, her windows boarded, her phone burner only. Tips dry up, witnesses clam up, fear choking the flow of leads. In August, another body surfaces in Idaho, same MO, throat slit, moon carved, red moon overhead. The cult doesn't flinch, their grip tightening even as the world watches. The FBI takes over, forming a task force to hunt the Crimson Moon. But the feds flounder, leads vanish, informants recant, and key evidence is misplaced in transit. Mara resurfaces in late August, a new microphone in hand, her voice raw but unbroken. "They are not done," she says in her first episode in weeks. "And neither am I." She tracks Voss to a Portland psych ward, where she's catatonic, muttering "mother's coming" in loops. A ruby pendant is clutched in her hand, Mara tries to photograph it, but it's stolen mid-interview, the ward's cameras glitching at the exact moment. Days later, Mara's tailed again, the black sedan bolder now. On a rural highway, it rams her car, sending her spinning into a ditch. She escapes, bloody but alive, her resolve hardened. "They can't silence me," she records, her voice a mix of defiance and exhaustion, her knuckles bruised from climbing out of the wreck. The cult endures, its roots too deep to pull. 2025 looms, another eclipse on the horizon, and the body count ticks upward. 25 victims now, their deaths a crimson stain across decades. Mara's final episode airs in January, her words a rallying cry, they are not ghosts. They are us, your neighbor, your boss, your friend. Watch the moon, and don't trust anyone. The mystery festers, unsolved, the cult's believers slipping through every net. Arrests don't stick, witnesses vanish, juries deadlock, evidence evaporates. The Crimson Moon remains a specter, its rituals unbroken, its mother still waiting. Mara keeps fighting, her voice a beacon in the dark, but the shadows are vast, and the cult's reach is vaster. Years creep by, and Portland moves on, its scars hidden under new pavement, new headlines. Mara's voice fades, her podcast a relic for true crime diehards. The Crimson Moon becomes legend, a ghost story told in dive bars and Reddit threads. Eclipses still bring whispers, red robes glimpsed in shadows, blades glinting under starlight. Harrow's name lingers in forums, his fate a mystery, his warnings unheeded. Voss dies in the ward, her secrets buried with her. The Crimson Mother waits, her believers patient, their rituals etched in blood. Murder hides in plain sight, a truth too dark to face, a cult too cunning to fall. And that's the cult of the Crimson Moon, a chilling enigma that's haunted the West Coast for decades, a killer hiding in the open. What do you think? Is the cult still out there, watching, waiting? Drop your wildest theories in the comments, we're reading every one. If this story spooked you, smash that like button, share it with your crew, and subscribe for more dark tales that'll keep you up at night. Next time, we're diving into a killer stalking the bayou's fog, a case so twisted it'll chill your bones. Stay sharp, and we'll catch you under the moon.